Okay, so it's July 2025, and July is History Month because of the 4th of July. So I'm doing quotes of the Founding Fathers. These are quotes of Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was a great founding father. He was a great genius, and he was a great man. When you really study him, they try to give you a bad impression of him in the public schools. You study him, he was a great man. Okay, here's some of his quotes. He was the author of the Declaration of Independence, of course. He said, "Since a being cannot come from a non-being, logically man was created by something greater than man. The God who gave us life gave us liberty at the same time. The God of creation gave us liberty when he gave us life." So that's an important thing to know. The United States was founded by Christians based on a Christian worldview and a Bible-based worldview. Okay, Thomas Jefferson, by modern standards, would be a religious fanatic. The best person to read about him is from the historian David Barton. How he, read the Bible in 5 different languages, was always trying to teach the Bible, and insisted on it being taught at his college, etc., etc. Okay, continuing with Thomas Jefferson. "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Okay, so that's how America was founded, a Christian worldview that mankind should have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Freedom, okay? That to secure these rights, governments are instituted amongst men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute a new government. Declaration of Independence, 1776. Okay, here's some more from the DOI, Declaration of Independence. "When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume amongst the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them." By God, we're entitled to have equal rights, okay? That's the Bible-based view right there from Genesis. Man is created in the image of God. Okay, so that makes him entitled to native rights. That's why you always want a Christian worldview and Christian ethics. If you don't have that, the typical place is based on atheistic Darwinism, which says the ruler has all the power, the people have none. Okay, so you can't do anything. So you want that. All right. Let's continue. He says the natural progress of things is for liberty to yield and government to gain ground. Okay, you can basically think of a government as being a group of men who loot a country. That's what a government is. And the only thing that keeps them accountable is that there's checks and balances in the system. And if you don't have checks and balances in the system, they just become progressively more corrupt. And that's why the original Declaration of Independence, Constitution were written the way they were in the Bill of Rights to maintain those things, but they're being eroded over time. So hopefully that will not continue. Okay, he continues, Thomas Jefferson. "Our liberty depends on freedom of the press. Where the press is free, all is safe. The only security for all is a free press," which is why there should not be censorship on the internet. There should not be censorship on these video channels because people need to speak freely. So, a lot of times censors will go around saying, oh, they want to prevent misinformation, but that's BS. What they really don't want to do is allow free opinion. So people should very much promote free speech, because free speech is your best chance to stay free. Because otherwise you end up with lying scumbags like they have in Ireland that are destroying the Irish people. Okay, and that has come to a lot of Western countries and was in the USA up until recently, and hopefully it's not going to come back, but who knows? Okay, our liberty depends on freedom of the press. If you ask Alexander Solzhenitsyn, why did Russia go into the crap hole? He said it's because men had forgotten God. If you have atheism, then that means the citizens have zero rights. Zero. None. So don't let anybody try to tell you that atheism is in your best interest. And it doesn't make sense scientifically either. I got plenty of other videos about that. Continuing with Thomas Jefferson. "A republic is the only form of government which is not eternally at open or secret war with the rights of mankind." Yeah, any other government, it always just turns into tyranny. Democracy is bullshit, okay? Democracy is a fake word used by people who want to promote socialism, and socialism as a prelude to communism. So don't fall for that trick, okay? What you want is a republic. Our founding fathers had studied ancient Greece and ancient Rome extensively, and they knew that the Roman Republic was the best that mankind had ever done up until that point, okay? And it's the best that mankind can do. So what makes people free? A constitution, okay? Capitalism, laissez-faire capitalism, and number 3 is Christianity. with a Christian worldview, that all men are equal in the eyes of God. Unlike if you just have the ruler's atheistic Darwinism view, atheistic Darwinism says might is right. So that means the ruler has the might, the power, the money to make other people do stuff. So that means whatever they say is right. You don't want that. The reason why the super rich people want atheistic Darwinism is because it says they're equivalent of God. There is no God above them. When you have Christianity, there's a God above any ruler, and so that ruler must obey the precepts of Christianity. Otherwise, the public can question them. Okay, so that limits their power, which is a good thing. Okay, Thomas Jefferson continues. As I grow older, I find I love those most who I love first. Okay, he very much loved his first wife. Okay, cultivators of the earth are the most valuable citizens. He loved the farmers, and he wanted America to keep its family farms and be largely agricultural. We would be a lot better off if we had more small family farms. Think about it. They couldn't starve people to death. Okay, think about it. You'd have much more choices about food. Okay, this modern idea of GMO and them controlling the seeds is another. Just all of this stuff about centralization and external control, it's all bad. Everything about individualism is good in general. In general, those are good rules of thumb to go by for leading to people free and prosperous and creative and happy. Okay, listen to what Thomas Jefferson says. He says, merchants are the least virtuous citizens. Yeah, they'll sell everybody out. That's why they should not have so much power. And they possess the least of amor patriae. They're least patriotic to the country. They'll take their business to another country in 5 seconds for profit. So people should know that and remember that. Okay. Then he says, when we get piled on upon one another in large cities as in Europe, we shall become corrupt as in Europe, where they go about eating one another as they do there. Okay. So he's not a big fan of Europe. Okay. Let me see if I got any more here for this. If I got any more on this page, I'll just do this one page for today. I got a few more quotes. Here we go. Hey, where did my little guy go? Where did my guy go? Here I am. Oh, I don't know how that got put into the background. I didn't do that on purpose. Anyways, I'll just finish up here. I view great cities. This is Thomas Jefferson. I view great cities as pestilential to the morals that heal and the liberties of man. I censure none, but I do homage to everyone's right of opinion. A Bill of Rights is what the people are entitled to against every government on earth. Nothing would do more extensive good at small expense than the establishment of a small circulating library in every country. Yeah, we need libraries. We should keep the paper books. You don't want everything on the internet because they're going to delete the old books. They're going to hide the truth from the people, like they've hidden the truth about the founding of America being a Christian country. People should have paperback books. Students should have paper books that they keep for the rest of their lives, so they learn the Bible, they learn the ancient Greeks, they learn the ancient Romans. That's how you really learn mankind and government and history, is by reading that stuff. Okay? We should enlighten the people generally. If we enlighten the people generally, yeah, you have them read the Bible, ancient Greeks and ancient Romans, tyranny and oppressions of body and mind will vanish like evil spirits at the dawn of day. People who know the Bible, the ancient Greeks, and the ancient Romans, they don't put up with bullshit because they know the truth. Whereas a typical public school dumb shit has been brainwashed, and it's easy to trick them into going against their own self-interest, okay? And for example, if you really understand Christianity, you can't be a Democrat. Okay, you can't, because Democrats are the modern Communist Party. So you can't go for that. What's the purpose of the Communist Party? To genocide the Christians. Okay, so you can't be a Christian and be a Democrat simultaneously if you know what Christianity is. But most people don't even know what it is. Okay, Thomas Jefferson. I have given up the newspapers in exchange for Tacitus and Thucydides, Newton and Euclid, and I find myself much happier. So he said that at one time. So anyways, those are some quotes of Thomas Jefferson. That's part one of Thomas Jefferson quotes. Hope you found those useful, enjoyable.